Electrification has hit the Brazilian market like a tsunami. Again, my dear João Delarco, 11% more than 220,000 brand new cars sold in Brazil in 2025 were electrified.
Exactly, and the number is going to go up, right? This year, there are already promises of more automakers that weren't in this segment yet, coming in with technologies, even if they're just mild hybrids. And I have a question for you, for example, regarding the Corolla Cross. Does it sell more because it's in demand, or is it in demand because it sells more?
Yeah, does it sell more because it's a Toyota, or anyway, we're talking about a Pioneer, right? The Corolla Cross uses a powertrain inherited from the Prius, right? Which was the first car that Toyota brought here more than 10 years ago. It was the first full hybrid for sale in Brazil, and it still sells very well. There were more than 14,000 hybrid Corolla Crosses last year. It's the fourth best-selling hybrid in Brazil. The Haval H6 is the leader. But the Corolla Cross has been the best-selling midsize SUV in Brazil in recent years. Last year, it temporarily lost the lead, incidentally, because of, well, we had a windstorm. The factory, Toyota's production was disrupted, but it continues to be a strong player in the new car market. It's also a strong player in the used car market, which is important for us to understand. As electric and electrified cars start making up a large volume of new cars, any concerns about liquidity or resale value in the used car market will gradually fade away. And Corolla Cross, whether hybrid or not, is always a strong player.
And here at Kavak, in the case of this unit, you pay 10% less compared to a brand new one, which is a good advantage, especially because this car is also ready for immediate delivery. You just need to take it home.
Not only that, this car is practically brand new. It's the XRX heavy version, top of the line. Do you know how many kilometers this car has? 2025 with only 2,000 kilometers. If you finance it through Kavak's financial branch, it's 192,000 reais, while a brand new car is costing over 220,000 reais. Right, so you save 30,000 reais right away to get into a car. Literally no, right? It's practically new. We're talking about a 2020 car with only 2,000 kilometers driven.
Toyota also understands Brazilians, right? They loaded this car with accessories too. This car already has one here, which is this cover, this base, this tray, right, fixed. It also includes a spare tire, which frequent drivers value. That's a common hybrid criticism, but this car provides it.
And the trunk is better than the one in its main gas-powered competitor, the Compass. This one is already the facelift version, right? We have the new front end and some tweaks in the interior as well to make the car more interesting. Power. Check out our glorious 1.8 powertrain, the combined power, right, of 122 horsepower. That might sound a bit scary, but it's that old saying, power comes from horsepower, but torque moves cars, right? The electric motor here delivers that torque. With instant low-end torque, the car accelerates quickly after a speed bump.
For example. Exactly, and this is the Corolla that we can have, quote unquote, right? In the sense that this car here is based on the Corolla. The hatchback as well, which in Brazil only comes in the GR version, but here in the SUV, in the Corolla Cross, it has a more marketable formula for Toyota too, right? We know many times we get upset like, oh my God, the car doesn't come, that car isn't available. But the numbers have to add up, and they do here for Toyota and for you as well. That although this car isn't a plug-in hybrid, it still has benefits. For example, exemption from São Paulo's driving restrictions here in São Paulo, right? Yes, after all.
They're discussing the IPVA in around 10 states, if I'm correct.
We're talking about a true electrified vehicle that can have its wheels powered only by the battery's electricity. Yeah.
There's the little EV mode button here, right? But I think we have low battery here for it to run only on electric. And it's already the facelifted version, both up front and inside, right? It got this fully digital cluster, which should have a really nice resolution. The infamous Tube TV infotainment system is also gone. Now it's a multimedia system with a thinner, more sophisticated screen here.
And inside here you have the same setup as the Corolla sedan in the Altis version, right? Which comes with lighter leather, driving assistance features, sunroof. In other words, it's not lacking in equipment for a car in the 200,000 reais range. And I think the big advantage is exactly the fuel consumption figures, right? This car is so new that it's actually right here behind the camera.
They haven't removed the
in metro label yet, but getting an average of 12.5 in the city with gasoline, no.
12.5 with ethanol, 17 with gasoline.
Exactly, 12.5 with ethanol, exactly. It's really good, right? And even more so when you do the usual calculation with ethanol from sugarcane. to preserve, actually, to bring this emission calculation to net zero, right? In other words, the possibility of a flex fuel hybrid is real, and this flex fuel technology is already present here in the Corolla, but the industry is moving forward. Rivals, right? GWM itself, BYD, will soon have their own flex fuel hybrids as well.
So this generation of the Corolla, right, which the Corolla Cross is based on, was the first Corolla we can say that historically we had that rivalry, right? A real classic rivalry, Corolla versus Civic. The Civic has more sporty ambitions while the Corolla is more tuned for comfort. Not here, right? Toyota chose a Corolla with a good chassis, fun to drive, right? So it has quick steering, a suspension that doesn't roll in the corners. It's a really nice car to drive. And in the case of this version here, the top one, man, it's a really well-finished car, right? Everything is soft touch around here. My elbows rest on soft, light-colored leather on both sides. It seems to me like that car where now we're going to recharge going downhill, right? Maybe the EV mode will work down there, but it's a car that gives me the feeling that under stress, which is life in urban traffic. If you've seen it, I drive here in Aldeia de Serra, right? A lot of people live in Aldeia de Serra and go to and from Sao Paulo every day. The Corolla Pro is a great companion for that usually stressful route.
Exactly, and Corolla, Toyota, right, they trust their products so much that they already offer a 10-year warranty, so it's a very well-tested car. And this one, I was talking about this generation of the Corolla, right? We're already talking about the generation of the Corolla that fully embraced modular platforms. Modern architectures.
This part has TNGA, right? Toyota New Global Architecture.
Exactly, it gives rise to more sophisticated cars, like the RAV4. And here it gives rise to the Corolla Cross, which does have a slightly simpler design. Like the rear suspension, which isn't exactly independent, right? It's a torsion beam setup, but it's very soft, you know, very well prepared and calibrated. Here for Brazilian roads, it's one of the cars, along with the Compass, that really prioritizes ride comfort.
And that's a great point. You mentioned the Toyota 10, right? We're talking about this unit here, a 2025 model with 2,000 kilometers, now a little over 2,000 after our drive. You definitely have the option to keep up with the maintenance, right? This car hasn't had its first service yet, so you can keep the maintenance at the dealership. You'll have the 10-year Toyota warranty program on a pre-owned car from Kavak, right? That's pretty cool.
Exactly, and with the advantage, as you mentioned, of Kavak, you can take the car right away, immediate delivery. The car is basically in brand new condition. It even still has that new car smell inside.
You'll spend 30,000 Rs less if you finance with Kuna, so let's get to our final conclusions. Final conclusions, my dear João de Larco. This engine here is not going to beat the main Chinese rivals in a straight line run. But mainly, we're still at a point where it's still early in terms of electric and electrified vehicle adoption in Brazil. And this here is a guarantee of reliability.
Yeah, Toyota historically has a slower pace of drastic changes than what we're usually used to in the industry. But this is a well-tested engine, right? The 1.8 Flex also debuted in the Corolla as a Flex engine, but it already existed in the
world's first Flex hybrid.
Exactly, it already existed in the Prius before as well. The battery isn't that big, 1.3 kWh, but an interesting detail about this hybrid here is that you can lock it in EV mode, just like we showed earlier. You press the EV button on the dashboard and you can drive in 100% electric mode many times. Hybrids with this size of battery don't allow that, right? And the fuel efficiency, of course, is an advantage. 17 kilometers per liter of gasoline in the city, 14 on the highway.
With gasoline and with ethanol, you can also get numbers well above average, right?
It reaches 14 in the city, a very interesting number, especially now that fuel is more expensive. Having such an economical car is always an advantage. Just one detail, right? Toyota doesn't provide the combined torque figure. It only lists the power at 122 horsepower, which confirms what you said, right? It's not going to win drag races against other Chinese rivals.
Go ahead and close the hood. The raised hood is a Corolla Cross feature since it uses the same powertrain as the Corolla. Like we said, this facelift looks really cool, right? The blue logo here used to be the hallmark of Toyota hybrids, and the big final conclusion is this. Right, my dear João de Larco? It's the car for the guy who doesn't want to worry.
Exactly, it's the car for those who don't want any headaches and still want some conveniences, right? The Corolla Cross has especially improved with this facelift here. No more foot-operated parking brake, now it has an electronic parking brake.
The muffler resonator is gone too, right? It's more discreet now.
Dual-style headlights here, so certainly this version is an improvement over what you had before, a nice evolution. No doubt here at Kavak 2, paying about 10% less than a brand new car with 2,000 kilometers, it's quite an advantage.
50% less if you finance with Kuna. In short, it's that car you can buy with peace of mind and also confidently recommend to anyone in your family who's looking for an SUV. So you already know, right? Go to the Kavak website, download the Kavak app to look for your hybrid SUV or your next favorite car, whatever the segment. Also follow Kavak on social media to keep up with all the news and especially all the promotions. Kavak always has promotions related to special dates, consumer week, that kind of thing. You need to always stay tuned to catch a good opportunity. Leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, and as always, thank you so much, take care, and big hugs.